It had been announced, now there have been protests against Trump's policies in Los Angeles. Actually declared peaceful, Trump responded by sending soldiers to the city. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, considered this unnecessary and even asked if he would now be arrested. Trump responded by sending more National Guard units to protect other buildings in the city from the, in his view, violent protests, and a city on the brink of emergency. However, the aforementioned violent riots did not occur, the protests ended relatively lightly. Trump's opponents nevertheless described the procedure as exaggerated and even go so far that the president has exceeded his authority. However, there are unlikely to be any consequences either way, as Trump now has a firm grip on Congress himself. It seems almost surreal, considering that a few months ago there was a kind of sales talk in the White House when Musk presented Trump a Tesla car. Even Musk's son has already visited the Oval Office. Of course, this was a complete spectacular press event. Musk himself, after becoming head of Doge, had cleaned up the government, as the saying goes, but this had led to further protests. As a result, Musk recently announced his withdrawal from politics, greatly supported by Trump, quoting that Elon was no longer needed. But after Trump's aggressive tariff policy and the imminent change in taxes, things look different. Deep rifts opened up between Musk and Trump, and what may have once been a friendship broke up rapidly. The mudslinging of the two has now taken on great proportions, and there is no stinginess with insults in the social media channels. Musk was one of Trump's biggest campaign financiers, and quite a few, including Musk himself, make these payments partly responsible for Trump's victory in the elections. Although both have rode back a bit in terms of the sharpness of their posts, the rift will probably remain. The dispute between Israel and Iran increased in recent weeks. The reason for this was Iran's announcement that it would expand its nuclear program and conduct further research in this topic. This met with little approval from the Netanyahu government, although to be fair it must be said that other states were also skeptical about it. As a result, there had been repeated attacks by Israel on Iranian nuclear facilities. These attacks led to a first climax in June, when the USA under President Trump's orders intervened and bombed one of Iran's main facilities. The target was destroyed, Iran's nuclear program set back by at least years, according to expert opinions. Of course, this attack has again fueled discussions about the extent to which such a preemptive strike is acceptable, or whether it is a violation of international law. Iran's response, however, has been moderate, and a counterattack seems unlikely at this stage. Let us pause at this point to commemorate the many people who have set off on courageous journeys into space, and from whom you never heard anything again. Of course, there are still the lost satellites around Ralph Offenhaus, about which we have already reported several times, which were launched into space in the 90s and which have never returned. Then there were ships like the Merrily and its Asian counterpart, which left in 2010 and are also missing and considered destroyed. Just recently, in 2021, another ship set off for Kepler's star and met the fate of many before him. And now they want to start another expedition towards Kepler. It would be the second. Investors are sought for a new expedition, and rumors have it that even Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos want to get involved with their space programs. However, NASA experts are rather critical of such ambitions. These amateurish space journeys must stop, is quoted here by someone who wishes to remain anonymous. The only thing these projects bring are more deaths. At least the failed expeditions of the last few years or decades seem to be right here. On the other hand, some of the richest men, such as the aforementioned Elon Musk, have already dreamed of colonizing Mars.